One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon. Where's our clapping? There's our clapping. Wherever we may be in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. I'm your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, here every Monday morning on the Intuitive Prospector channel, Instagram Live or YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of that for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday morning, we'll be doing an encouragement, inspirational, motivational show for today for about 30 minutes, and then we get into the Healing Cafe. I hope that you'll join me in the Healing Cafe, which consists of Q&A, spiritual chats, readings, could be psychic, could be mediumship, could be intuition. I am happy to announce that one of my students in my group is going to be joining me this morning. Her name is Heidi, and I'll let her introduce herself when she comes into the Healing Cafe. But I hope that you'll join us for the Healing Cafe because, again, it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way just to come together and bring in positivity and inspiration into our world. I sat in meditation this morning, kind of reflecting on what I wanted to talk about this morning, because I'll be honest with you, I really wasn't sure what I was going to talk about. Given everything that has taken place over this last week. And one of the things that came into my mind was the great coming together. Something that I had done predictions. I do my prediction shows and my forecasting shows at the beginning of every year. And just let me know if the sound quality is okay. I'm going to turn just the video so I can see everybody coming in. Okay, so it looks like we got good sound. We got good quality of video, so that's good. So good morning to all of you. I do see you streaming through, but just know that during this show, I don't interact with anybody. This is really just more of 25 to 30 minutes of inspiration and guidance, encouragement, motivation, all that good stuff. So please share out, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Check out the links in the description field because I'm doing a lot of stuff now through Insight Timer for free meditations. Of course, my show Inspired Living Radio, which will be back on the 6th season. First show of the year is this Wednesday over on Om Times Radio. It is an internet-based radio show. It is an hour long. And I'm going to be doing my predictions and my forecasting for 2021, just like I did last year for 2020, which I called the Roaring 20s, because I knew it was going to be a very transformative year of what we were going through, including the pandemic, including politics, including everything that we've seen up to date. So join me this Wednesday for my first prediction and forecasting of 2021 live at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going into our 6th season. I am excited because I am also in the second show of the season, which will be at the end of this month. We're going to have Don Miguel Ruiz. So if you've ever read The Four Agreements, one of the first books I ever read in my spiritual path, when I started to understand what psychic and mediumship and intuition and awareness and mindfulness and metaphysics and energy and frequency and vibration, one of the first books I read was called The Four Agreements, about how I respond in life and in daily life. And I'll also go back and I'll look at some of the predictions that I didn't get right, because I don't, I am like a weatherman, if you will, and I get a lot of things right, but there are some things that I do not get right. And it's not from an ego based of, oh, I got this right, or I told you so. It's just sharing what I see and what I feel and what's coming up, including what has happened this last week. What happened on January 6th, I talked about. I've written about it in my articles. You can go to marclainhart.com, and I talked about this back in September. But at the beginning of last year in 2020, one of the things that I saw was the great coming together. And today I want to talk about that, because we're going to have to come together as a nation. If not, we're looking at a full civil war. We're looking at a house divided doesn't stand. The world in America will change if we don't come together at this point, based on everything that we've seen since January 6th, 2021, which will forever change. It will go down in history, remembered as a dark, dividing, dysfunctional time of 2020. And as we started to move into 2021, it's something we haven't seen in over 200 years. The atrocities, the decimation, the racism, just everything that we saw is very reminiscent of what we saw in Germany when Hitler came to power. And we saw the same thing. Now, all week, I've been taking a lot of flack. I've been taking a lot of people's different opinions. And I accept that for, when I'm out in the public, and I do try to bring a lot of inspiration. I do like to bring a lot of inspiration, motivation, and encouragement. But at the same time, there are times in life, guys, where we have to be light workers and spiritual warriors. And if you are still on board with everything that Trump has done, that is your choice. That is your free will. I just choose not to be associated with hate, racism, fear, demagoguery, authoritarianism, treating other people less than themselves, rioting, violence, domestic terrorism. I'm not associated with that. So I made it very clear on my social media accounts. If that's what you choose to follow, that is your free will and choice. But please don't follow my work. Don't be friends with me on social media, because I don't support that. I'm a victim of violent crime. My brother was murdered, and anytime somebody is murdered or bloodshed, I draw the line. End of story, period. And I do believe that we can start to come together. Now, you notice I said Trump and Trumpism. I have many friends that are Republicans. I have many friends that are Democrats, both conservative and liberal. They can believe in their party's ideologies. That's great. But this is something different, guys. This is something that crossed the Rubicon. This is something that crossed the line of domestic terrorism, sedition, broke the law, a criminal act. And I truly believe, as part of my forecasting for 2021, this is what we had to go through. I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm heartbroken. I've really had a hard time as a veteran. I've raised my hand to defend the Constitution of the United States. I'm not politically affiliated. And when I post or share something, it's amazing on social media how many people don't ever say anything to my positive post. But as soon as I say something, or I stand up, or I see something, I say something, as we're taught as citizens of a fair and free country, as soon as I say something, people want to come out of the woodwork behind the keyboard and bullying comments, mean comments. I don't put up with that anymore, you guys. I will delete the comment. I will block you from social media. I don't engage with supporting rhetoric that is that condones violence or domestic terrorism. And so I had a lot of people come at me this week because I am upset, and I'm a constitutionalist. I need to stand up and speak truth to power and defend our Constitution of the United States against enemies foreign and what we're currently seeing domestic. So I always say, if you continue to support Trump, I just watched a video from the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who came from Austria, who said this is very similar to Nazism, which I had been talking about for over 3 years now. If you want to support that, that's fine. I won't judge you for the party that you follow, whether it's Democrat, Independent, or Republican. I will judge you and not be affiliated with you on social media or work with you if you, follow Trump and Trumpism and the ideologies of what Trumpism is. I will judge you for that. History will judge you for that. You will be on the wrong side of history. This is very similar to what the Nazism party did, Nazi party. And I just posted just recently on my Facebook page, both on Instagram and my Intuitive Prospector page. And it's a quote that I want to read to you real quick because it's 75 years ago. We've only been out of World War II and the rise of fascism and Nazism for 75 years. And Winston Churchill said this, and this was 75 years ago: Nazi medals splashed like raindrops into the lakes across Germany. And I think what we're seeing, or what we saw attempted, whether it's attempted coup or take over the government or to overthrow, and I'm not sure that we're done with it quite yet, but one ought never to turn one's back on a threatened danger and try to run away from it. If you do that, you will double the danger, but if you meet it promptly and without flinching, you will reduce the danger by half. And that's by Sir Winston Churchill. That's something I posted today because I believe that this is a time now to come together, to promote peace, not violence. It's something that I predicted. I'm not sure exactly why I saw it back in 2020, January. You can go back and listen to my podcast. I'll post it on my my links if you want to listen to it. But it was the forecast that I saw. I talked about the great coming together, homeostasis, sustainability for society, for our planet, and self-mastery. And everything that's built up to January 6, 2021, that is the demarcation line for me. That's where I draw the line now, because I will not put up with that anymore. And it's just, honestly, it's amazing how many people have come at me that never say anything. A lot of judgments, a lot of opinions. I accept that because I'm out in the public forum and in the work that I do. That's fine. I'm willing to take that. I'm pretty thick-skinned, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But I don't have to condone it, because what you condone, you own. What you ignore, you accept. And I'm not going to embrace that anymore. So nothing to do with the Republican Party, nothing to do with the GOP, nothing to do. Like I said, I have many friends that are Republicans and conservatives. I have many friends that are liberals and Democrats. But it comes back to what George Washington talked about when he stepped down from power. If you understand your history, guys, and you learn from your history, you'll see that history has not changed that much from where we are today. But at the same time, his greatest fear was that political factions would tear the country apart. I don't see that for 2021. I don't see a civil war. And at least I hope not. I don't believe in violence. I don't condone violence of any type. But at the same time, sometimes you have to have a fight to stand up, whether standing up to bullying, standing up to racism, standing up to systemic racism. What we saw happen on January 6th is blatant racism. If this would have been a Black Lives Matter movement, there would have been a lot more people dead. And up to date that I know of, there's 4 citizens that have died on the Capitol steps and 2 Capitol police officers that were killed. Unfortunately, one committed suicide and the other one was injured and then later died. That's just unacceptable, guys. That's rhetoric that has driven us to this point. And some people, some people can sit back and say, oh, well, it's just words. If you follow my work, you know that I talk about that words matter. And if there's any time in our history to come together, it's right now. And this is where the great coming together that I forecasted, that I was seeing. I wasn't sure how it was going to unfold, how it's come to pass. But I want you to become familiar with the term that you're going to hear a lot more of in the days ahead as we follow the Constitution, as we follow democracy, as we follow the rule of law and being law-abiding as citizens, because everything we saw on January 6th broke the law. It's seditional. It goes against the Constitution. It goes against our democracy, and it's unpatriotic, period, end of story. If you don't agree with that, you don't have to. But again, you don't have to be affiliated or associated with me on social media either. And my friend count has gone down. I think I'm at like 2,500 friends or something like that. And it went down to 2,488 because I simply stated, if you are pro-Trump after January 6, 2021, I don't want to be in your media. I don't want to be in your social media feeds. I don't want to be in your orbit because it just tells me you support something, an ideology that goes against everything that we've worked as America, as patriots, as a democracy, to have a fair and free, all men are created equal under God. And, sometimes you have to have a demarcation line and draw the line in the sand and stand up for what's right. And that's me being a light worker. I'm always helping people. If you followed my work or you've read my testimonials on my professional directories, you know I've always been in service, whether it's in service to my country as a coastie for 8 years, whether it's in service to my local community as a firefighter for 13 years, or being in service to spirit as a light worker to help, to heal, to inspire. But there are times where we have to step up and be spiritual warriors or be a Jedi. And that's what I am. I'm an American Jedi. And I believe that we can start to come together. But one term I want you to pay attention to is what we call stochastic terrorism. It talks about the public demonization of a person or group resulting in incitement of a violent act, which is statistically probable, but whose specifics cannot be predicted. January 6, 2021, but it was incited. The lone wolf attack was apparently influenced by a rhetoric of stochastic terrorism. I want you to be familiar with that, domestic terrorism and stochastic terrorism, because there's going to be a fight for the next year in 2021. But I also see us coming together in the great coming together. Now, for those of you that follow my work, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. I honor you. I appreciate you. But at the same time, again, today I'm being a little bit, my tone is a little bit, maybe not as kind, caring, and compassion that I always talk about. And, I am human. I do have emotions. I do feel anger. I do feel sadness. I do feel heartbreak. I do feel deception. I'm feeling all of that today, you guys. And I've been pretty upset all week, to be honest with you. But I also follow spiritual principles of spiritualism. And one of the principles that I follow, where it talks about the brotherhood of man and the acceptance and the forgiveness and grace, but at the same time, number 5 talks about personal responsibility. And I believe that we have a personal responsibility to stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves. We fought many wars to have the freedoms and the democracy that we have today. And a lot of people have died to give us the lifestyle and the freedoms that we have today. And that's what I'm talking about, my being a spiritual warrior, in the fact that I stand up for democracy. And again, all week I've been attacked. I've had a lot of people agree with me, but I've also had just people that I haven't talked to in months or sometimes years that just come out of the woodwork and just say, you need to be a light worker, Mark, and accept Trump for being a light worker. Let me be clear. Trump and Trumpism and Trump supporters are not light workers. That is not an ideology that supports love, grace, forgiveness, equality, treating people with respect and kindness. It's the opposite. And if you follow me on my, you know that I shared a story that's very personal to me. It's something a lot of you don't know about, but I shared a very personal statement and a personal testimonial about how close Nazism is to my own family. And I'll just share that with you real quick, and then we'll get ready for the Healing Cafe. But my aunt is from Germany, 100% German, my Aunt Erica. She came to America after marrying my uncle, Gary, who is now in spirit, unfortunately. He was stationed there in the Army for a couple of years. They met, fell in love. He brought her here to America. She learned how to speak English. She got her citizenship. She did everything that she was supposed to. And I didn't know about this for several years until we were at a Christmas Eve party and we started talking, because I've always been just fascinated, maybe it's past life regression or a past life experience with World War II, Winston Churchill, Hitler, all of that. And I wasn't sure, why I was so drawn to that. And as we sat down on this Christmas Eve and had a discussion over a couple Christmas Eves, she shared with me that her father, Helmut, served in Hitler's SS, served in Hitler's army. He had to, because if he didn't, they would kill his family. And my Aunt Erica would be here today to tell me this story. Now, he survived World War II. He burned his uniform. He was disgraced. He felt horrible about what he served, but he had to. And that's, in what he talked about and what he shared and what my aunt shared with me. So this is secondhand, but again, 2 degrees of separation from Hitlerism, Nazism, is everybody at the time talked about Hitler was a good and did a lot. He was a good person and he did a lot of good things for us. And then he lost his mind. And I'm literally watching that unfold with the media, with the social media, the news on all the supporters of Trump the last 4 years are saying, well, we didn't know, and we didn't know he's going to do this. We did. We saw it. For those of us that are educated and are open and not blind, as Maya Angelou reminds us, we're only as blind as we want to be. We've seen it for 4 years. The rhetoric, the tweets, the language, words matter, guys. And what I'm saying is, when my aunt shared this with me, she talked about all the stories, the lies, the propaganda that led to his power and his support. And, he became known today for his evil atrocities. And, Trump is that. Trump is going to be remembered as that as well. And this is something I feel that, again, we need to experience, no matter how heartbreaking, how painful. I'm feeling for the 2 police officers' families, the Capitol police officers that died. And on top of that, we have a COVID pandemic that's raging with no leadership. Leadership matters in a storm, whether you're a captain of a ship or a captain of a military force. Leadership matters in these times. And we're not seeing it, and we're suffering. Many people are dying. But this is what we have to experience, guys. This is where we have to start to become spiritual warriors, Jedi, stand up and call it for what it is, draw a line in the sand and say, we will not allow this anymore. I believe in kindness, caring, compassion, love thy neighbor, treat, those as you would treat yourself, leave things better than how you found them. But at the same time, you can't allow lies and propaganda and misinformation, which social media has a big responsibility. And that's going to be part of my forecasting. Internet 2.0 and how social media interacts with us as a society. There's going to be a lot of cleaning up of social media over this next few years because of what we've gone through. But we had to go through this to experience it, to say enough. And this is now where we start to come together. This is where the personal responsibility of the principles as a spiritualist that I follow, being a light worker, being a spiritual warrior when we need to be, having personal responsibility, but also following the brotherhood of man and women and our planet for unity. So I just wanted to share that with you today. Let me check the time. It's 8:30. We're going to get ready for the Healing Cafe, but I do want to just say, this is going to pass. This too shall pass. We're going to get to better days ahead. Right around May and June, we're going to start to see, from COVID to politics, there's still going to be some, troubled waters ahead of us, some things to go through historically. But I talked about this, but again, I also talked about the great coming together, and I really believe that we can do that. So the card that I pulled for you today, and I'll bring Heidi on here in just a second, the Healing Cafe. But again, I got a little bit of a late start because of technology connection. But love thyself, love thy neighbor, but also have your boundaries, draw your line in the sand. Don't be associated with people that support an ideology of hate, racism, fear, demagoguery, going against the democracy, storming a Capitol. Really, guys, that's where we're at. We're better than this. And I believe in the great coming together for 2021. And we'll do that for those of us. In the end, it's like Star Wars. There's more of us that believe in that, in love and forgiveness and grace. And I'm going to have to find forgiveness in my heart somewhere for all of this. And again, even some of the people that have personally attacked me and told me I wasn't a light worker because of what I say. That's, free will. That's First Amendment. I honor and respect that. I accept it. And it's part of life. But at the same time, I'm not going to be associated with Trumpism, Trump supporters, or those that promote very similar ideologies to what the Nazi Party stood for, what Hitler stood for, and what we all witnessed on January 6, 2021. Like Maya Angelou reminded us, we're only as blind as we want to be. So the card that I pulled for today, double 88, it's abundance. We're moving into the heart, the pink, the love. We're going to move into abundance. And a double 88 is infinity. The infinity is what we're experiencing right now. It's the journey in. It's the journey out. The crystal that I picked for you this week is Dioptase, Dioptase. And it's a stone that is a powerful healer for the heart and the opener for the higher heart chakra. It's a wonderful blue-green color, and it brings all the chakras up to the great level of functioning and facilitates spiritual attunement, reaching the highest level of consciousness. It has a dramatic effect on the human energy field. Dioptase, I think I'm saying that right. Dioptase. If I'm not saying it right, I'm sure somebody will let me know. But I just wanted to share that with you today as a stone to bring in peace, to bring in healing, to bring in, forgiveness, and to bring in unity and patriotism and democracy. In the end of the day, democracy does win. And what we saw on January 6th is not democratic. It's unpatriotic. It's domestic terrorism. It's rioting. And we're better than that. So I want to just finish off. We'll get ready for the Healing Cafe. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to my rant today. Again, my tone's a little bit different because I'm upset. But as I look into my coffee and see what's going on, I look into my coffee like a crystal ball. My mother-in-law just gave me this little crystal ball that I have now here on my desk. But I look into the coffee in my crystal ball for what I believe is the great coming together. So with that, just want to say thank you. I did have something in my book that I was going to read to you, but I'll do it next time so we can get ready for the Healing Cafe and I can get Heidi on board. But one of the quotes, I got a little lovely book from one of my students called The Jedi Mind. I just want to read this to you and then we'll get into the Healing Cafe. Be here now. I talk about the magic of the moment. We can't change what has happened in the past. We can project out into the future, but it's not guaranteed. And it just says, this comes from Qui-Gon Jinn, who's a Jedi master. And he says, remember, concentrate on the moment, feel, don't think, trust your instincts. So again, trust your instincts in the days ahead, guys. The practice is called savoring. Choose an activity you do every day. Maybe it's drinking coffee. Cheers. Or walking to a bus stop. It could be something that takes just a few minutes. Use your sense to savor the activity. Think about each sip of coffee as physical experience. Notice its heat, aroma, and flavor. Tune into the sounds and sights while you stroll. Any activity, no matter how seemingly mundane, can be enlivened and activated by praying and careful attention, and notice everything you can about it. You are here, you are now. Be here now. So let's focus, because our focus does create our reality. Let's focus on the great coming together. Let's focus on homeostasis. Let's focus on sustainability. Let's focus on self-mastery. Let's focus on peace. Let's focus on love. Let's focus on grace. Let's focus on forgiveness. And let's focus on loving thy neighbor and coming together and treat others as we like to be treated. That's the big difference, is half are there. And I'd say 70% of you are there, 30% are not. So Yoda best. Yoda best. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll be back next Monday morning for another Metaphysical Mocha Mondays here on the Intuitive Prospector page. Make sure to like, subscribe, share out. We're going to get ready for the Healing Cafe. I will be live this Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern for the first show and our 6th season of Inspired Living Radio, where I will be talking exactly what I see for 2021, the forecast, but I'll also be using the scientific method to go back and look at what I got right and what I didn't get right. And I think that's important, because I think we all project the future we want, but we also have to go back and reflect through the scientific method of what maybe we didn't see. Maybe there's some similarities, maybe there wasn't. So we'll get ready for the Healing Cafe. Give us about 5 minutes. I got to get Heidi into the healing room here, and we'll be giving you readings. But make sure to subscribe, because that's how you get noticed when when I'm live here on Facebook, my Instagram, which is Marc Lainhart, or the YouTube channel. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you over in the Healing Cafe. Until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate in these trying times of ours, and most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and find that diamond within. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe. Namaste.